Hi everyone, I'm Paula Burgess from Beyondthe Maze. I am the owner and founder of Beyondthe Maze, and I'm about to highlight in the Prosperity Show. What you can hear about here is we talk about my journey with my son's ADHD, how I started in Beyondthe Maze and from my financial planning role, and how I can support other business owners who are neurodivergent as well, and as well as a little bit of my car racing addiction, I might add, to put a little light on the show. So thanks very much. Talk to you soon.
Now, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show, your premium destination for uncovering transformative stories and solutions that empower your personal and professional life. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we are thrilled to host Paula Burgess, the dynamic founder of Beyondthe Maze. Now, Paula, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you very much for having me here. I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, the pleasure is all mine. We've already started laughing, about the differences in our jobs and things like that. So I can't wait to hear, your side of the story with everything else. And for those that are meeting Paula for the very first time, not only does she love numbers, she also loves shredding things, as I have established. And Paula isn't just a virtual assistant expert. She's also a beacon for neurodivergent business owners, especially those that are navigating the complexities of ADHD. So her journey from the financial planner to ADHD coach and also business owner is nothing short of inspiring. And it's a bit of a tidbit that I also discovered. Besides her shredding machine, she's also a car enthusiast who races cars on weekends. So if you ever need someone to maybe organize your business and beat you on the track, I think Paula is your go-to person for that. So stay tuned as we explore Paula's journey, the challenges that she has had to overcome, and also the innovative solutions that she is crafting to help others thrive. And as you know, on the Online Prosperity Show, we're here to help your business be profitable and enjoyable. Now, obviously, with all that I have said, I just can't wait to jump into this. Now, Paula, your journey started off in financial planning. Tell us a little bit about those days and what they made of you in those financial planning corridors.
Wow. So yeah, it did start in financial planning. I love finance. I love numbers, anything nerdy around that. Just love it. And knew I wanted to do something in the space of finance. So started out as just doing some administration. I finally landed a job in a financial planning practice, doing just back office admin and reception and things like that. Then decided that I'd go and do my university degree for a Bachelor of Business in Financial Planning. So sort of grew from there. I was in the industry for 10 years. Really did enjoy it until I kind of realized that it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. I wanted to do more helping people around finances rather than selling to people with finances. Just sort of went, I just stayed there for a bit until I decided that it wasn't for me anymore, and my son needed me more than financial planning did. So that's where the turn changed to go into my own business.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for opening that up for us. So you did mention you're a numbers nerd. Was that something you picked up even in your schooling days, or is it something that then just came to you as you were growing up and exploring career opportunities?
No, definitely maths was always my strongest subject. Back in the day, I'll show you my age here, but we did advanced maths. So I did advanced maths, and it was definitely the numbers that really got me. I think you're either a numbers person or you're a words person, and English was not my strong suit, so numbers definitely was.
Absolutely. And what sort of hopes did you have as a student at that time? Was
Mm.
finance the career of choice, or were you thinking of something else that was maths related?
Yeah, definitely not finance. I had the opportunity when I was at school to do the accounting subjects and the business study subjects. Did none of those. Actually, did all the science subjects because I wanted to be a vet. But just didn't get back in the day, it was called a TE score. Didn't get the TE score that I wanted to get to uni to be a vet. So tried to get into veterinary nursing for years, but that's extremely, high, high competitive place to get into. So that never worked either. So I got into nursing instead.
So you then went on, obviously, with doing the back end of financial businesses and things like that, up until you went on and did your own bachelor in finance, which
Mm.
obviously then meant you now had maybe the recourse or ways to speak to, people and help them with their finances and things like that. What did your job sort of entail, on a day-to-day sort of basis, just on a high level?
Yeah, so I went, all the way through the ranks of financial planning. So, as I said, started in admin, then moved into what's called paraplanning. So, most people know what a paralegal is. A paraplanner is pretty much the same thing, just to an advisor instead of a lawyer. And so, we're doing all the back office, writing the plans and doing all the comparisons and doing all the research and things like that. Then moved into the financial planning side of things and just started seeing clients and started recommending different products and services and things that they needed. Then I sort of got tied up with a bit of a dodgy advisor. So just sort of went, well, I'm not this person. And I didn't really like a few things that he did. So I stepped back from that and went and got a job somewhere else. And they didn't actually have an advisor job at the time. So I just went back into paraplanning, stayed there for a while, did a bit of their insurances because, again, nerdy. I nerded out on insurance stuff, loved all the insurance, trying to find the right policies for people, things like that. Not a very loved part of financial planning, but I did love it. So the people that I got a job with loved that idea because that wasn't their thing either. So I had a bit of a play in there and then just decided that I liked the back office side of things. So qualified financial planner, but just staying as a power planner, which is, it's good because you kind of had that knowledge of financial planning to be bringing into the paraplanners. And honestly, paraplanners do the majority of that work anyway. Financial planners would kill me for saying that. But the financial planners, it's their name on the line. But definitely the paraplanners are in the back end doing a lot of the research and grudgery work to make sure that plan comes out right.
Absolutely. And that was obviously 10 years of it. Now, in my
Mm.
experience, financial planning is usually for people that have got their stuff together. Tell me, what do these rich people eat for breakfast?
Same as us. Oh, goodness. Yep. No, they're same as us. They've got the same problems, the same dramas. Everything is the same, right? It's just on a bigger scale sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, because, yeah, I've been just wondering, maybe it's in my diet,
Yeah,
that
that's
I haven't
right.
figured it out.
If
But
it was that easy, right?
absolutely. And thank you so much for that. Now, obviously, you did this for 10 years and then you then discovered that, well, this wasn't the sort of thing for you. And you've already explained that along the way, you were already mapping out, the bones of what then later on became, the rest of your career because you're doing a lot of the behind the scenes,
Mm.
sort of work. What was the transition now from obviously, working in this sort of places to now starting your own Beyondthe Maze,
Yep.
setup?
Yeah, so that was a huge transition, bit of a culture shock. And, sort of like running your own business is massive. Uh, I was brought up in a family that had their own businesses. So I was kind of I knew somewhat of the stresses, but as a child, you kind of forget about that. And yeah, so I think that the major transition was that I had to do it. My son needed me, and I was like, well, he was expelled from daycare at the age of 4, so good feed on him. Um, and I thought, if he can't handle daycare, then there's no way he's going to handle school. So that's when I went, right, I need to go out on my own to give myself that flexibility. But yeah, having your own business is not as flexible as some people think it is. Once you get, 13 years in, which I am, it's a bit more flexible. But at the beginning, it takes a lot out of you. So I had the high demand of trying to build and grow a business, and the demand on the other side of the needs of my son through school and things like that. So, yeah, that was a bit very much of a roller coaster to have to adapt to that.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, you've brought up, the ADHD diagnostics of your son, and it became a pivotal moment, which obviously, changed your career trajectory, and also, I think maybe your own personal, journey and professional journey in and of itself. Now, how much of an impact was it to you and everything else that was running in your life, now that you knew that your son needed you?
It was a huge impact, changed my entire life. I actually ended up writing a book about it, because I just wanted other parents to feel that they weren't alone. Because I'm talking, my son's now 16, so we're talking 12 years ago, where ADHD wasn't so accepted as it is today, and he was very harshly judged, as was I, as his mother. So I think trying to be the support for him and stay strong for him had a huge impact on my life, to just change the way I thought about things. I became more accepting of other people as well, because the judgment that I had on other people, because we all judge people, right? That dropped in me. And it gave me that drive to just make my business successful, because I didn't feel like I had any other choice, because there was no way that he was going to cope with the school system without the support from me. And I was right, because he was being sent home at least once a week.
Now, obviously, that in and of itself is not a small feat. And you being a mom, you being an entrepreneur, all of those things just was just a melting pot of so many things that were, thrown at you. Now, how did you cope?
A lot of help from people. So there was a lot of, and I talk about this in my book, is that you've got to reach out and ask for help. There were many times that I found myself on the floor going, I cannot cope with this. We were doing everything. My son just wasn't seeing, the medical doctors. I was going alternative as well. So we were in and out of all these different appointments all the time. I've got clients. I was a sole trader then, so I had clients at me. So I always made it very known that when I brought on a new client, I would always tell them my situation, and that my son would always come first. So if school rang, I would need to drop something to go and get him. But I always made them assured that the work would still be done, even if I was doing it at 12, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever, it would still be done. So if the client didn't like that, then they wouldn't work with me. So I always, I worked that out. But very stressful. I sourced my own psychologist to be able to talk to them, and just reached out to my friends who understood. I lost a lot of friends, lost a lot of family members who didn't understand the whole situation either. But you just lean on the people that are there for you. And if you don't have people there for you, then you go and get the right support. Go to the doctor and ask for a referral to a psychologist or something like that.
Absolutely. And you have all of this documented, I think, in the book Beyondthe ADHD label, and obviously it's you telling this story of how you're getting past it and things like that. What can people expect as well in this book?
So I wrote this book quite a while ago. It took me a couple of years to write it, actually, but what they can get out of it is I wrote it for other parents going through a similar journey at the beginning where they were really feeling lost and judged by people. So it's really sort of this guide, I guess, to help people, first of all, get past the judgment, because ADHD is a huge judgment, and also just the things that we did. So there's other avenues out there bar just going to your doctor and going to the pediatrician. And that's what I wanted other people to see, is that there's so many other avenues out there that you can explore. Yes, absolutely have a pediatrician, or we didn't go to the pediatrician route. We actually went to a child psychiatrist instead. Absolutely, you need to have them in your corner, but there's other avenues you can explore as well. And this book does explore all the different options out there. And I'm sure since I wrote that book, there's a lot more out there now as well.
And do you still face the same sort of stigma or same sort of judgment, especially these days when it comes
No, not really. Not for me. Possibly I mean, my son's older now. He's 16, so he doesn't feel judged. He goes to an awesome school that support it, and he's doing amazingly well. But for me, I've always kind of pushed back on that judgment anyway, and sort of said, you don't know what goes on in my life to be able to judge me. I remember one of my best friends was standing at the school one day, and all these parents, there was about 3 or 4 parents standing in a group with her, and would just judge me. Why doesn't this parent do something about him? Why, how come, why is he in our class? He should be somewhere else, all that sort of thing. And my friend piped up and said, have you actually spoken to Paula and asked her what she's done? And none of them could say yes, of course. And she said, well, how about you go and ask Paula, because she'll absolutely tell you all the things that she's done to help him, and then you won't judge her so much. So I thought, well, that's so very true, right? Because we don't know what's going on in other people's lives. So, yeah, I don't feel that judgment anymore from anybody, but that's possibly because I'm stronger. And I know in myself what we've done. And he's older too.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously believe in life. We're here to live, to learn, and to contribute. And obviously, in order for us to live the best life that we want, we need to learn how to deal with whatever comes our way. And once we do, we send the elevator down, so that other people can escalate and use that knowledge as a stepping stone. No, you've put the book out, and you've even gone beyond the actual maze, and you're supporting neurodivergent business owners. Why does niche sort of come close to you? Because these are adults, not kids, especially.
Yeah, so I did. So years ago, I went and studied ADHD coaching, and I was actually supporting the kids, and I was running kids groups and things like that. But what I actually found is that I didn't realize until I did it, my journey with my son was actually quite traumatic. And to the point that even his psychiatrist said that she might have to hospitalize me if things don't change. But so I just kind of went through that. But when I started coaching the kids and I was talking to parents and seeing their issues and their heartbreak and their challenges and things like that, I started reliving my trauma over and over and over again. So I had to protect myself and step back from that and go, I can't do this anymore. So I stepped away from the actual coaching and went, but I've got all this knowledge and I want to support people who are neurodivergent or have neurodivergent kids. How do I make that happen? And I had my VA business. So I just went, right, this is it. I just need to specialize in neurodivergent business owners. And there's a different mindset there with business owners in general, as opposed to employees. We just think differently. And yeah, it goes great now. So I train my team on, if team come to me and say, oh, this business owner is doing this. Like, remember, they're ADHD. So you have to think in this way, and this is how their brain's working. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. So we come to it from that angle, and it does really well. As we have clients that come on, and as soon as they know that we specialize in neurodivergence, they're like, wow, you understand me, you get me. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. I mean, in a world where, like you said, everybody who is ill-informed is just judging based on what they're seeing. I think you're literally giving these people, you're making them feel seen and heard, and also really giving them an opportunity to thrive. Because if somebody knows that, how to deal with certain types, it makes it easy for people to actually, work harmoniously there. But the reason why a lot of people judge is because of lack of information. And most people would just think or believe that ADHD is just about hyperactivity and, that sort of way of being. What are some of the misconceptions that you might like to debunk so that at least people are aware? Because as you know, fish don't see the water that they swim in.
Absolutely. The biggest one is ADHD is just a naughty child. That's the biggest one. And I got that quite often. I've just got a naughty child. But it's not about that. It's about them, them tapping into their environment, understanding where they're coming from, understanding what they enjoy doing. There's a lot of things around that. So, there's naughty child, there's they can't focus, they're aggressive, all that sort of stuff. And I'm just like, really, like, if they're aggressive, there's probably something in their environment that's triggering them. And generally it's something that they may not either understand or they can't manage. So if a child, and can be similar for autism, if a child is overstimulated, then they don't know, and they don't know how to regulate themselves, then that can come into a whole big meltdown and moving forward. So it's important to just, teach that how to regulate. We used to say, with my son, we used to use Winnie the Pooh. So we used to have Tigger, Eeyore, and Pooh Bear. And when my son escalated and he was hyperactive, I would just say, do we have to have Tigger in the house today? Or if there was a food that we knew would trigger him, I would say, are we ready for Tigger today? Because that's what's going to happen when you have that food. And he'll be like, oh, I don't care if Tigger's here today. Or sometimes he'll go, I don't want Tigger here today, because he knows what Tigger would lead to, where it might be that he might get in trouble for something because he's taken something too far, or he can't bring himself back down, or different things like that. So yeah, there's a few. The big one is misbehavior. That's the big one, or just a naughty child.
Absolutely. And obviously once people, because you can't tame it if you can't name it. And I feel like with you calling these different, aspects of their being, then they get to understand that this is what is meant, especially in this part of the work. And how do you translate that with business people? Do you maybe have certain characters that they need to become, or how does that sort of work?
Yeah, good question. We have not done that. We've not called our clients Tigger or Pooh Bear or anything like that. Good idea, though. Oh no, Tigger's in the house today. No, we just, we don't name them, actually. So that's really good, actually. I should do that. I should bring that in. But yeah, no, we'll just sort of identify where they're coming from. And so if we've got somebody that, we've got some clients that, to their, they'll admit this, that they just can't get their act together, and they're just a mess. And so that's why they've got us. We come in, we clean up all that back office admin, we look after all the admin side for them, because they just can't. It's just not their thing. Their thing is caring for people in whatever specialty that they do. So when we're trying, so one of the team members might try and get something across to our client, and it might be admin, but admin's not their thing, so they don't get it. So we have to just look at how we might rephrase something to explain what we're trying to achieve with them, because they might just go, no, not going to do that, because they don't understand it. And they might get overwhelmed as well, because again, it's not their thing.
Absolutely. Now, you did mention you do now have a team at Beyondthe Maze, and obviously you're not a solo, practitioner anymore. How does your team at Beyondthe Maze then embody these values and the mission that you've set? Because maybe some of the people, like you said, might not have an understanding, and then, you sort of like redirect them to have an understanding of the clients they're dealing with.
Yep. Yeah, look, it's something that we talk about all the time. So every single morning we talk about our values for the business to make sure everyone's aligned. And apart from the newer team members, most of our team can rattle off our values like that without even seeing them on the screen, because we say them every morning, and those values encompass the neurodiversity. So one of them is around diversity. And at the beginning, like, they come in and they do a course on understanding neurodivergence. So, and then they know with me, because of the training that I've done, if there's any questions around how to relate to a client, they come to me and they ask me, and I'll guide them through it. We also have a couple of team members themselves who are ADHD, so they get it. We're very open to hiring those who are neurodivergent for obvious reasons. So they get it. But sometimes they're completely opposite, right? We might be somebody who escalates easier and some that just can't focus. So they might clash, and we're like, well, hang on, just come back a minute and let's just talk about how we can talk about that and work that out. And then they'll go back and put that strategy in place.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, you're working with so many different people. Maybe, obviously, while protecting the innocent, is there maybe a client or a case study that you might just want to walk us through, where somebody came to you like they do with an accountant, with a box full of receipts, and they're like, you figure it out, and then you literally, gave them back to themselves, so to speak?
Yep. Yeah, so absolutely. So we have had this one client who's come to us, and they didn't have a system in place for their collecting money and things like that. So they had quite a bit of money outstanding, and we were just like, why do you have all this money outstanding? Because really, at the end of an appointment, they should be being paid. And we've got other clients who will take deposits, or they'll run through in the morning and they'll make all the payments for their appointments for that day. Or at the end of the day, we're making all the appointments for the day. But they had nothing in place for this. So they had quite a bit of money outstanding. They had no payment process in place, and they had no collection process in place either. So we came in and we just assessed all of that, and we went, right, this is what we're going to do. So in place, we put in place we cemented their cancellation policy. They had one, but it was a little bit all over the place. So nothing was really getting followed through. So we're like, that's the first thing we can do. If somebody cancels, they still pay within 24 or 48 hours, depending on what they chose. Then we put in place that credit cards have to be on file for every single client. And if they're not on file, then that payment is made before they walk out the door, and they have to show on the screen that it's been paid by transfer. And then we put in, we gave them a full-time team member to look after them full-time, because they were quite big. And then two of us then got busy, so to speak, on the debt collection, and we collected about 70% of their outstandings. So we came to it from all different angles and just went, right. So now, at the beginning of every morning, they go through and they get billed. Everyone gets billed and invoiced and paid for that day before. So we've got a nice process happening now for it.
Fantastic. That's a really good outcome. Now, obviously, you're talking about from your business perspective. How about those other businesses that maybe supply to people with ADHD or have to deal with people with ADHD? In your opinion, why is it crucial for other businesses or businesses to understand and accommodate neurodiversity?
So I think take action. So take action, take ownership, and be direct, I guess. So if they're coming to you to provide a service, then chances are that what they're paying you to do, they don't know anything about, right? So they do what they do best. Like, our tagline is, we do what you do best, we do the rest. And, so they might come to them. So let's say it's social media, for example, and they hire a social media person. Well, then that social media person, they're the expert in that field. So that expert needs to then guide that person in what they're doing. Because what can happen is, especially with someone with ADHD, bright shiny object, and I actually think this is just about 95% of entrepreneurs anyway, bright shiny object kicks in and they might go, oh, this looks great on social media, let's do this. So then they might actually start doing it, or they'll take it to the social media person, but it may not be the right avenue to go down. So it's up to that social media person to say, no, this is not what we do. Don't fall into the trap of falling into their bright shiny object. Keep them accountable to what they need to do and what's best for them. Even if you have to, what we call, put it in the car park, we say, well, okay, that's a great idea. Let's put that in the car park because we're working on this right now and we'll come back to it, because chances are probably won't be interesting back when you come back to it anyway.
Now, I mean, just hearing from you, it does sound like there's a lot of hand-holding there and things of that nature. Now, how do you then ensure your services remain, one, accessible and also affordable for those that need them the most? Because this looks like a specialty type of leverage that you're affording these people.
Yep. Yeah, look, we're always working with our clients, and we work in monthly packages just to make it very consistent for our clients as well. And we're looking at those monthly packages like monthly, but overall 3 monthly, just to make sure that they're still within the right package, that they haven't gone up or they haven't gone down in what they need to make it affordable for them. But also, generally, when they're bringing on admin, we say to someone, if you're doing, 10 hours of admin a week and you outsource that to someone, how many more appointments can you do based on their hourly rate, which is usually a lot more than our hourly rate because that's their specialty? So how many more of those can you do? So you'll end up paying for us, but you'll also end up with more money because you're spending time in those higher end, returns.
And for those that are watching right now, I want to ask you a question. Have you, or do you know anyone that has maybe faced ADHD related sort of challenges, especially in the workplace or in the business space? So you want to share your experiences or questions in the comments below, and I think Paula will be able to answer those questions, because we need to foster a supportive community as we go along. Now, Paula, for those that are listening and may be interested in maybe getting in touch with you or connecting with your team, what would be the best way to get started on their journey, or where can they go on the internet?
Yeah, sure. So you can follow me on all the socials, which is just Beyondthe Maze, or go to the website, which is beyondthemaze.com.au. You can jump on there, find out more about us. There's some downloads you can download for free, or you can book a call with us. So you'd either speak with myself or Shay. So Shay is our client concierge, and she also looks after anybody that's got any inquiries or anything like that. So so you can find us there or chat with us on any of the socials as well.
Absolutely. I'll definitely make sure that all those links are in the show notes below. Now, Paula, obviously we've spoken a lot about your business and things of that nature, but all work and no play makes Paula obviously a dog girl. What's it with cars?
Oh, I love cars. You sure? Have we got enough time for this? I was a tomboy. So back in the day when we were allowed to be called tomboys. But yeah, I was a tomboy. Mum tried to get me to play with Barbies, but I would play with Matchbox cars all the time. And then Dad took me to a speedway when I was 7 or 8, and that was it. I was hooked. So yeah, I just love cars. I go to drag races. I go to car shows. And then back in 2017, I bought my dream car, and that just catapulted me in a whole another world. And that's how I got into. A friend of mine said, "You need to put this car on the track," and I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that. That's scary. I've always wanted to do it, but I just was too scared." She goes, "No, go and do it." So I found a track training course, I think you won't want to call it, and I rang her afterwards. I went, "I hate you so much because now I love this so much and I want to do this all the time." So I threw my car on the track quite a few times, and now I have a race car that we run about every 6 weeks in a series. And my son is going to be doing, hopefully, a new series next year where it's a lot. This one is just time trial, the one we do now, but the one next year is going to be absolutely competitive, and that's for him, not me.
Absolutely.
I'll be his pit crew.
Absolutely. See, with what you're doing, you are on the racetrack all the time. I mean, for one thing, you're sitting in a race chair right there, and for
That's
a
right.
second,
Exactly.
yeah, for a second, I've always been told, I think it was a Tony Robbins speech that says a race car driver, wherever you focus on is where the car goes. First of all, I don't know how far true that is. And do you find any parallels between the racetrack and business management?
Absolutely. So when I first started being on the racetrack, I had a different coach than I do at the moment. And we were talking about that analogy all the time. And I was like, every time I was on a racetrack, I would become a better business owner because yes, the focus, absolutely. And that is 100% true. Where you focus, that's where your car's going to go. So if you're going around a corner, you're not going to look straight ahead. You're going to look around that corner. And just even getting out of your comfort zone. So, racing is huge out of your comfort zone with you having to play with other people on the track, make sure they don't go off with you, and yeah, there's a lot of things there that I actually want to go and do some personal growth development stuff as part of my business with other people at the racetrack, and just come in and go, right, get on the track, come back, we'll do a talk about different self-development, and then bringing in that analogy with business, and just, you have to plan it out, you have to know how it's going to work, you have to get into the right mindset, and then you definitely have to, once you've done what you need to, you have to kind of reevaluate and come down from it as well. So there's a huge analogy with being on the racetrack and business.
Absolutely. Now, I've seen, when they're showing on TV, the race car guy usually has this person on the side. I don't think they'll ever ask me to be that person on the side, because I'd just be asking, so where are we going and what am I supposed to do? And I'll maybe try to make conversation with the driver there and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. Now, I had a question. Obviously, all the race cars are usually muscle cars. There's petrol, there's noise and stuff like that. How do you view electric cars?
Next question. Does that answer your question? I tell my friends, if they buy electric cars, they can no longer be a friend of mine anymore. I'm a muscle car girl, petrol through and through. But look, they're fast. They are absolutely fast. That is the only thing I feel they've got going for them. And if I'm beside one on the track, I won't even race one. There's no point. My car's pretty fast, but not against an electric car. But yeah, that's the only thing. So who knows what's going to happen with them in the future. I was talking to someone the other day who has one, and they were like, they're pretty hopeless in Australia because you can't really take them far. Because you've got to make sure all the charging points are along the way. So I think Australia's got a long way to go before we become fully electric.
Absolutely. I just needed to understand that, because obviously, even if you rave an electric car, it just goes, and
I know, there's no sound. Give me a big thumping V8, I tell you, not the electric ones. That's boring.
Absolutely. Now, Paula, I can't thank you enough for the time that we spent on the call today. I mean, your life story and your experience has really taken us beyond the maze, and you've made and normalized what a lot of people find as, a barrier to growth, especially when they receive that diagnosis. They don't normally know where to start. What sort of advice would you maybe give to maybe parents that are actually navigating that initial ADHD diagnosis that they receive, and now they know their life is completely going to change from from that sort of incident?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think their life is definitely going to change, and the major way it has to change is you now become an advocate for your child, because no one else is going to do it for you. and you have to end up being quite strong, especially with schools. If you don't have an amazing school, we moved our son from a school, and the first school wasn't terrible by any means, but it just didn't give us exactly what we wanted. And we were very vocal at that school about what we wanted for him. And you have to be. And I see it with my stepdaughter now, her children at that same school. And I say to her, you need to be vocal. You need to ask for help, because and it's not the school's fault. They've got so many children that they have to look after that some things can fall through the cracks. So you need to be that vocal person, and not an awful person at all, just vocal, ask for help, be your child's advocate. That's the biggest thing. Even with the medical professionals, like, they don't know everything. They know most of it, obviously. But if you don't feel something is right, then voice it. Absolutely. You can do that in a very respectful way. So just, that's the biggest thing, is just, as a parent, what's right for your child, and voice it. Be that advocate for your child. That's the only way that your child will get the help that they need.
Absolutely. Now, Paula, I mean, you've taken us also on a journey, told us where you've been, what's happening now. Now that we're in your world, what's next? What can we anticipate that you're working on, or that we can also champion for you on the sidelines?
Yeah, well, what's next? Hopefully there's more of me on the track, both business-wise. There'll be lots more things coming track-wise, and doing a lot more things around that. But we've also, we've just launched a new platform called PracticeFlow as well. And what that is that is a system that processes entire allied health and NDIS practices. So we come in, we work with the business owner and the key people in the business to stop them being bottlenecks of that business. So we come and put all the processes in place to make it a more functioning business, so things are running more smoothly, and hopefully the business owner can take some time off without having to get 10 million calls while they're on holidays.
Absolutely. So you literally telling people to take down the handbrake, because they're being you can't be on the racetrack with the handbrake fully engaged, right?
Absolutely. Definitely.
Fantastic. Now, Paula, thank you so much for sharing your invaluable insights and experiences with us today. I mean, obviously, your dedication to supporting these neurodivergent individuals, and also just transforming challenges into opportunities, is truly commendable. So thank you so much for that. If ever you need, I did say, you need the guy that sits right next to you on your next racing track, I'll be the one asking, would you like popcorn, or should we stop at McDonald's, or whatever it is?
I love it.
Absolutely. And for those that are watching right now, if today's discussion really resonated with you, I mean, obviously, I encourage you not to miss our next episode, where we're going to be exploring innovative ideas to enhance your well-being and happiness. And remember to subscribe for more enlightening conversations. And I also encourage you to share this episode with someone that might be going through, or experiencing ADHD, whether for themselves, their parents, kids, or anyone of their loved ones. They could actually benefit from hearing what Paula has done with that, scenario. Until next time, stay prosperous and keep thriving. Bye for now.
Bye.